Okay, so I want to talk about normal distributions and z-scores. So first of all, normal distribution is a bell curve that shows how the data is distributed from the mean. So if you look at this distribution here, this is our normal bell curve that we will look at. The mean, we use mu here because it's for the population. And then it's used by doing standard deviations and how many standard deviations we are from the mean. So if we go up one standard deviation here, two standard deviations, three standard deviations to the positive end, and then it could be -1, -2, -3 going the other way. So we divide this into that this is 2 point or 34% on each side of the mean. So from the mean to one standard deviation, 34%. From the mean to -1 standard deviation, 34%. So we have 68% of the data is within one standard deviation of the mean. So from -1 to 1 is one standard deviation from the mean, and that 68% of the data is there. If we go to two standard deviations, we can see we have an additional 13.5% here, an additional 13.5% here. So that makes us, when I add those all together, the 13.5, 34, 34, and 13.5, we get 95%. And then within three standard deviations, this is 99.7% of the data, because this actually represents 2.35 here, and this is actually 0.15%. All right, same over here, 2.35 and 0.15. All right, so the numbers we'll be using working with are those numbers there. So this is, like I said, the normal curve. Within one standard deviation of the mean is 68%, two standard deviations 95%, three standard deviations it's 99.7%. All right, so here we have, so what we want to do is we're going to be able to draw these normal curves. And so you'll get used to this. We'll do a few of these of actually drawing them out. So you have them. So here it tells us the grades on a statistic midterm are normally distributed. So that means we can use a bell curve with all of these specific percentages with a mean of 81 and a standard deviation of 5. So first of all, they want us to draw and label it. So I've drawn it out here on mine, and so you want to put it on yours. And we label it, so the mean is the middle, that's 81. And then we're just the standard deviation is our scale. So we add 5, so this is going to be 86, 91, 96, and we subtract, so 76, 71, and 66. So those are our numbers for the mean, one standard deviation above, two standard deviations above, three standard deviations above. So when we say +1, +2, +3, we mean those many standard deviations above the mean. And then the other way, 76 is 1 below, 71 is 2 below, and 66 is 3 below. So the question is, for another letter B, what percent of the data falls between 76 and 86? So since 76 and 86 is this region here, that encompasses 1 below and 1 above. So we add those together, so that would be 68%. Part C, what percent of the data falls between 71 and 91? So between 71 and 91, so we're going from here over to here. So that's two standard deviations. So I'm adding all those up, and that is 95%. Part D, from 81 to 91. All right, so from 81 to 91. So we're talking from here 81, over here 91. So we've got 34% here plus 13.5% would be 47.5%. So that's one above and two above the standard, the mean, right? And then letter E, what percent of the data is less than 86? So here's 86 here. Let me do it up here. Here's 86, and we're talking about everything this way, all of that. So then we're starting here at one above. So we've got 81. So this area here at the mean represents 50% of the data. And so then we're taking 50% and then we're adding this 34 here, right? So we got 50 plus 34, so that's 84% of the data is between there. So big thing to remember is that with the bell curve, we cut it in half here at the mean. So 50% is below the mean and 50% of the data is above the mean. And then we break it up into the other numbers. Within one standard deviation, 68%, so 34 and 34. Within two, then we add those together, so we have 47.5 and 47.5, and so on. Right? So there's the empirical rule, it's called. The 68, 95, 99.7 is the empirical rule. So you'll be using that with what we're doing on Thursday and Friday and with the Delta Math assignment.